What's up, former party people? This is Jerry, the one who actually combs his hair on the A is for Alcoholic podcast. Now, if you're finding value in listening to the AIFA podcast every week and you want to support sharing it with others, we invite you to become a sustaining monthly or per show contributor. Go to patreon.com/AIFA. It's super easy and it only takes a quick moment. It's about as easy as buying one of those pre-cooked space chickens from the grocery store, taking it outside, giving it a big old kiss, and kicking it into traffic. Why would you do that? Anyway, you do you, and I'll do me. Again, go to patreon.com/AIFA. And with that, people, let's start the show.
A is for Alcoholic is a program about recovery. My name is John, and I'm an alcoholic.
And my name is Jerry, and I'm an alcoholic.
Join us as we go through the alphabet of alcoholism, one letter at a time. It's good to be back, Jerry.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great, Johnny. It's good. Go get the papers.
Go get the papers.
It's great.
Get the papers.
Get the papers.
So this will be our Christmas episode, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And X, I thought we could do X is for X-Files, and we could go through some of our favorite X-Files episodes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember any of them.
I don't think
know.
There was
I just remember the one where which one?
The big mushroom. There was like a fungus that there was some alien fungus underground.
Oh, I don't remember that one. I remember the one the guy had a tattoo and it kept talking to him and it was like, kill that bitch. And he was like, I love you, Rosie. And she would be like, go stab your brother. And he'd be like, all right.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah. And it was like a Sailor Jerry pinup girl.
There was it was the one with the fungus underground, and then the fungus that would take their bodies and was going to eat them. And so, but it convinced their brain that they were still awake and solving crimes and shit. And then, so it tricked them. It was like that Stephen King book, 1408, Room 1408, where the demon or whatever, convinces you that the demon's dead. And so you go along thinking everything's fine, but really you're still in the throes of whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, of course. We're not going to talk anymore about X-Files, unless you want to.
I don't remember any.
Oh, okay.
I only remember that one, and then maybe the one with... Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I mean,
Considering
I watched
that's our
them.
generation, too. We were in our 20s when that shit was popping, and we were just, fucking drunk, so who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
It was on. I was hammered. You and I stole a shopping cart. I remember that.
Basically. I think... I knew people who were really into it, and so I was always around it, but I didn't really. Again, this conversation's descended into X-Files, but
right. Anyway, what is the X for this year?
Well,
XX rated.
X-rated? No,
Sex and recovery. It's confusing,
right?
Yeah.
Just don't do it right away.
Yeah.
I thought X could be for Xmas. It's Xmas. It's Christmas. It's Xmas cheer, gifts, past, present, and future. Jerry Wagner's ghosts, John Staley's ghosts of Christmas past.
Laundry.
Xmas laundry.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking. So my first gift this year was that I told you that my doctor said I had the best blood work that she'd seen in 2 years.
I clapped when you said that earlier. I was so fucking proud of you. I'm like, yeah, dude, you're killing it. That's right.
So I just anybody who's listening, I'm 42. I'll be 43 years old. A year ago, I was 272 pounds, I think, something like that. And you had substance. Yeah, you were substantial. As my mom would say, yes, a person of substance. I think that not only was it the sobriety, but it was, the physical fitness. And again, we can talk about whatever we want here because, it's our podcast. But there's a lot. I always am hesitant to talk about the physical recovery aspects of it because, they talk about, confining our conversation. What is the phrase? To our problems with alcohol or something like that?
Right. But I mean, we're not in a meeting. I'm in my wife's office. Yeah.
But I was so blown away when she's going down the list of your kidneys are great, your liver loves you, your cholesterol is well below, all this kind of stuff, and I was like, that's awesome. That was my Christmas gift to myself.
That's great.
Fucking getting the blood work right, because
And
that's
then you went to Five Guys.
right. No, well, man, it's like that's the thing is I think
I
about
earned
that
this Five Guys.
fucking exactly right. What is that about?
Right.
I don't really eat French fries anymore. I think the last time I had a couple was like a while ago, and
I had
there's only a
some
few.
a couple days ago.
Which you shouldn't feel bad if
It was
that's what
just
you're
like
into.
2 pinches. Yeah, no, I didn't feel bad. I'm staying in my calorie count, and I'm still running and working out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's 2 pinches. I like you.
It was like little pinches.
pinch,
Nobody can
yeah.
see it, but I
Uh-huh.
just pinched them fries in. They're truffle fries.
Dude, truffle fries. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I gotta be like, yes, Megan, absolutely. Not all of them, just 2
Um,
pinches.
were they like McDonald's or Wendy's or like
No, it was a hamburger place down here called Dickie Joe's. It's owned by the West brothers.
Dickie
Dickie
Joe's?
Joe's. Yeah, and Olive likes to go there because there's a frozen yogurt place connected to it called Dickie Yo's. I'm not fucking around, so Olive goes and like Olive's not even there for the cheeseburger. She's like, I'm there for the fucking frozen yogurt because I can put candy in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're there for the Joes. She's there for the Yos.
The Yo's, dude. Yo, yeah. I was trying to think of Yo MTV rap joke, but I didn't have one.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You could fit one in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought we'd talk about Christmas and what Christmas is like, what it was like, what it was.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, I growing up as a kid, I think the level of dysfunction and separation and stuff like that, like Christmas was kind of cool and kind of special, but it very quickly, like as soon as I left the house, it was really kind of not anything. It was always something to endure and to forget about and to get away from. I know that I feel like you had a little more cohesiveness in the family Christmas time.
We had a
throughout the
big
years.
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up with like, I didn't grow up with a big close family, but I grew up with a big extended family. But my immediate family, there's only 4 siblings and then my parents. But as a kid, I had like 20 some cousins and we all lived in the same town. So every Christmas there would be my dad and his siblings and then all my cousins on my dad's side. So they were pretty like elaborate, you know, Mexican, Italian, Catholic Christmases. And then on my mom's side, I had probably another 24 cousins as well. But I think that all changed when I moved out of the house. Yeah, started living in up north in Nogales in Tucson because, man, I was hanging out with graffiti writers and going to punk shows and partying and like I was like, man, coming home for Christmas, I'm gonna go fucking eat pot brownies and drink whiskey and
Party and hang out, and there was
take LSD and freak out in the desert. That's what I want to do.
there was I think my very first Christmas alone, like I remember because I had moved to Eugene. This is before I met you, and I was there with Steve. I was living with Steve, and he went home for Christmas, and so I couldn't afford it, and home was like in 2 different places, and so I was like, I'll just stay
Right.
here, and I was 18 or 19, and I just got drunk on like fucking Livingston Cellars Red Rosé, big ass.
Who'd
3.
you get to get you the wine? Just
I don't
a
remember.
homeless dude.
I think he had some friends there. He knew somebody somewhere, and
Who's
so
that, Steve?
Yeah, so Steve. So
Oh.
like we would have if we had somebody go buy us stuff, we would buy like 3-4 jugs of wine, like 2 or 3 fucking cases of Red Dog. Do you remember that beer? Red Dog. Or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, jeez, the Red
'Cause it was
Dog. I
cheap.
forgot all about that. Yeah.
So we always, surprisingly, it was like we would buy in bulk. So I think that was what I had was like a couple packs of smokes and some Livingston Cellars Red Rosé, and it was, but I mean that was kind of like that was the beginning of like Christmas on my own, and then I started working
Right.
in restaurants, and then we were always busy and working, and bars are always open, so tending
Bars are especially open.
especially
on
open. So I
Yeah.
think that was something that it just sort of faded into the background of like, well, this is just Christmas time and no big deal. And I always liked getting gifts and giving gifts, and
Right.
whether it was a significant other or family was in town and I think more so it was like for me, if I had days off with other people or time off and family was in town or friends, like maybe we'd get together and cook and drink, but mostly drink.
It was mostly all this string of these 3 holidays, dude. Is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. It just was during my drinking days was just an excuse to pretty much binge really hard for like a month and a half straight.
Right. And so you're like, well, things are slow at work, so I'm going to take off anyway, or family's going to be in town. So
right. It was just an excuse calling sick because I was hungover because I was broke, but I had enough to buy booze, or I'd come in and do just enough walk-ins to like make enough money to buy a fifth, and then if I controlled it, I could make the fifth last me maybe 2 days, maybe if I could control it with that half a fifth. You know, like okay, all I need to do is drink half of this fifth, and then I can make it till these 2 days, which are my days off, and then back into work again, so I can get another fifth. But yeah, Christmas it's not bad anymore. I like it now. I used to fucking hate it. Yeah, but now, and I think it has a lot to do with sobriety and my daughter. And I mean, she's getting older now, and so she's a little more cynical about it, I guess. She's growing up, so the glitter and the wonder's gone. Although this year I was like, yo, I was asking, Megan takes her every year to get her picture taken at the mall with that old dirty old Santa Claus, you know? Because he always smells like the food court, you know, like.
Well, yeah, he's
a dirty old, not in a pervert way. I mean,
Right.
dirty, like physically, just smells like food.
It's
you
an
know?
old suit, and he's spilled some fucking.
It's the same dude too here in Eugene, like all past like or 6 years, however long we've been here. And I was like, Megan, are you taking all of this year? And she's like, nah, she doesn't want to go. And I was like, I don't think she wants to go either. And just fucking with my kid, I was like, hey, you want to go to get your picture taken with Santa Claus? And I was absolutely expecting her to say no, and she's like, yeah, sure, why not, let's do it. And I like looked at Megan, and my wife was like shocked. So now we're gonna take her again, but I just think, you know, but to her, she's starting to get it now. Like, she's like, oh, I get it, there's something up, you know. But I still like it with her. I still think it's sweet. I enjoy.
She still believes in Santa Claus, or she doesn't?
To an extent.
But
no, she does, but I think she's starting not to. She's starting to see that it's like we've been bullshitting her. She can see it. But I still, like, I don't know, though. Because last year I made up this whole fucking... I had to look behind me, right? Last year I had this whole story about how, like, I text them, and, like, there's not just one guy. There's, like, an agent. They're all agents and shit. And, like, yeah, man, they were, like, this big organization. And there's, like, one dude who runs it, and he sends people out. And she's like, well, how can you hit every house? And I'm like, because there's, like, a bunch of them. It's like magic, dude. Plus, he's got a lot of money. Right? And so, I don't know. Like, I know she's like, you guys are buying me this shit. And I'm like, nah.
Wow.
We're not buying.
The big lies we tell in sobriety. Fucking Santa Claus.
Dude. But I remember my first sober Christmas trying to put together a fucking play set and having a nervous breakdown halfway through. And Megan's like, what do you need? Because I was, like, so frustrated. And I was like, I just need a fucking drink, you know? And went outside and smoked, like, 5 cigarettes. But, you know, I had so newly sober, you know? I was like... I don't even know how sober I was. I think I'd been sober August, 5 months trying to put together a play set. Don't be putting together a play set 5 months sober. I barely know how to put my pants on. You know, like, yeah. But I don't know, man. I mean, Christmas had a long history of getting really blind, fucked up, getting into fights with girlfriends, trying to get into fights at bars, drinking with you and Coda and you know Walter and the whole crew and. See, I mean, I had a couple of Christmases in Seattle with you guys, and it was a bunch in Eugene. I mean, how many Christmases did we do alone in Eugene? Tons of them.
Or, you know, yeah, tons of them. We just hang out and play video games and drink whiskey, and it's too cold to do anything else. Not that,
right.
It was always too something to do anything else.
Right.
I have this memory of, I went back east to visit family, and I feel like it was it could have been 2004, 5, or 6. I don't really remember. Like, this is part of... I thought, like, maybe it was my age, and I think maybe that might be part of it, but there's a lot that I don't remember from drinking, Jerry. Like,
it's the
seriously.
Rumplemans, dude. It's definitely
like
it was the fucking Manny's and a shot of whatever you guys were drinking, Jameson or
dumping
whatever.
whiskey in my beer and stuff like that, and, like...
Yeah.
But I really do. Like, everything is so fucking vague. But I do remember going to my grandparents' house in New Jersey and being there and being with my father, who I'd never had a great relationship with. And I remember, like, I was the one who was digging around looking for a liquor cabinet. And I remember finding some old bottle of, like, Canadian Club or Seagram's VO. It was one of those brown bottles with the kind of like silver or gold
black
paper.
label on it. Yeah.
And so
just sadness, just a bunch of sadness.
And that's what I remember, because I didn't want to go. I didn't want to be there with my dad. I was like so stressed out.
I think I remember
and anxious.
this trip, dude. I think I remember this.
And I remember being there with my uncle, who was fucking high on something the entire time that I remember. And so I just remember drinking this, and my dad being kind of surprised that he was like, "Oh, getting a little something, whatever, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah, Christmas time with the family," or making some remark. And I don't remember like flying there. I don't remember flying back. Like, not like I was in a blackout, but I feel like there was some kind of, I mean, it could just be.
You're bringing it up though, and I think I remember this. I think you were still living in Eugene. Yeah, you were still living in Eugene.
So it could have been 2002.
When did you? Yeah, I think it's because we were all living together, but because
maybe it was earlier than that.
You moved to Seattle in like 2007 or 6,
2003.
Right? You moved to Seattle in 2003, dude?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's all hazy. Like,
yeah, and I don't remember either. And this podcast is probably really interesting to people who are like, what year did John go to Jersey and steal a bottle of Seagrams from his ailing grandparents?
Right?
Yeah.
I think it was 06, but it might have been 02. I have no idea. But I guess the point is that there was a lot of drinking in Christmas, around Christmas
There always
time.
is. I have a feeling with every, I don't want to say with every, but I would have a feeling with a lot of alcoholics, there's a lot of drinking around this time of year. And I have a feeling with a lot of newly recovering alcoholics, there's going to be a lot of drinking around you this time of year. That's just inevitable. Mm-hmm. They're going to fucking get loaded around you. And they're going to fucking, you want some eggnog? No. No, motherfucker, no.
And you know, we
you know what happens.
You know what happens.
You know what I'm capable of. God damn it!
Jesus, it's true. It's so.
I will pee in this hot tub.
Make sure that the eggnog is not spiked. And if you scroll back through the feed, there is like a holiday survival guide or whatever.
Our version of it, which is like just fucking run for your life if you need to. It's okay.
Get out of there.
Okay, and get the fuck out of there.
But one thing is to
go to a Borders.
Seriously, go to a Borders. Go
read some books.
Read some books. Go to a fucking eat some fries, man. Pinch a few fries.
Get a couple of pinches. Yeah, you'll be all right.
But asking people like what's in this, and I do it all the time because I work in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, so what's in this? And so even things like, stuff on the menu, and it's like, it's a Grand Marnier chocolate sauce. I'm like, oh, so there's booze in this dessert, just so that we're all clear if anybody is not interested in, things like that. Like, don't fucking eat the fruitcake if it's soaked in brandy. There's
no shame in that. I ask all the time, is there booze in this? All the time. Or like, I live in Eugene, so they bring cookies to the shop, and I'm like, is there weed in this? Is there weed in this? Because I don't like weed. I don't like any head change except for caffeine and nicotine, and even those don't really do anything anymore. They just keep me running clean, But
the caffeine and nicotine,
right until my blood tests come back and they're like, you are all fucked up, Jerry.
You're like, Jerry, we need to talk.
Like, Jerry, you gotta quit that. You gotta quit that vaping. And I'm like, but I'm fucking training for the tryouts.
What would you do? What would you do if your doctor said you got to quit vaping?
I'd quit vaping.
Yeah,
I would. I quit drinking.
Yeah.
I started running out of nowhere. I'd just be like, well, arrivederci, nicotine. You were. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll get a lozenge or just fucking quit and sweat it out. I mean.
So I had an interesting. Speaking of doctors, I had an interesting conversation with my doctor because she wanted me to have an MRI, and we were going to talk about legs too. This is a terrible recovery podcast, guys. I'm really sorry
right?
out there, but
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead anyway. I'm sure it's all involved somehow, but she said I'm going to give you an MRI. We got to see what's going on in your back because it's probably this disc, nerve, whatever. And she said, "Do you get claustrophobic?" And I said, I mean, it's tough for anybody, but I've been in those sensory deprivation tanks. Like I think I can kind of do it, And she said, "Well, if you want, I can prescribe you this whatever. It's Ativan." She said,
"Yeah, I know Ativan."
What is Ativan? What is it?
It's like Valium. It's just pretty much Valium.
Okay, and I said,
it's just another name for sweet Valium.
And I didn't want to be like, well, I'm an alcoholic and I can't really mess with that stuff. But I just said, it's kind of a complicated history with anything that's may or may not be addictive. And she said, okay, well, that's fine. And she gave me a prescription for some other thing, which is sort of like a Benadryl light. So basically,
Oh,
it's
to
like
make you sleepy.
so it makes you a little drowsy, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
last 12 hours. And I was
Yeah.
thinking, I think I could get next to that because I've taken like cold meds and stuff like that in sobriety.
I think you should be fine. I first seriously thought she was just going to throw you a little mesh pouch of lavender and be like, "Here you go, pussy. Hitting the
Right?
fucking MRI, you fucking crybaby."
So here's some willow bark and no.
Oh, I guess you can't eat Valium like the rest of us, you fucking crybaby.
Right?
Here's some fucking lavender and willow bark. Yeah, exactly.
But I was just that was the thing is what do I don't know. I just got some fucking I got some perks
That's
in the
a-
bathroom from my
That's
when
a
I got
good
my tooth
question,
pulled.
right? I don't know what's your relationship with it and how does it affect you in life? Because like my sister's getting married in February, right? And they're all pushing. And like just I don't want to get too much into it, but it's just the time doesn't work, the money doesn't work, and I have this like which everybody around me thinks is the biggest reason, but I have this enormous phobia of flying. Like it's
Yes.
a real tangible phobia. Like it's not just me making it up because it's a fucking cute, funny thing. Like I get on a plane and I have a 2.5 hour long panic attack. It's awful. And so I was like, well, maybe I should go to my doctor and ask him for some drugs. Like just say I need some Valium to fly, right? And then once again, like kind of the struggle, not the struggle, but the question, right? The philosophical question of what do I do from this point? Which is a great question. Does it affect my sobriety? Does it affect the way I think about sobriety? Because I haven't taken really anything mood altering. I think when I got a tooth yanked, I've taken like a painkiller once. When I got my tooth yanked, and I didn't like the way it made me feel, and then I went to sleep. Do you know what I mean? But I haven't been high. I haven't taken anything mood altering since I've gotten sober, with the exception of nicotine and caffeine. You know.
I think for me, I would probably I guess it would have to depend on the pain level.
Right.
Like if I was in an excruciating amount of pain that was not being addressed and I needed to not feel the pain so that I could like sleep.
Right, but did you find, and I guess this will be something you'll have to suss out on your own, because you find in the past did pills lead, pardon me, did pills lead to you drinking? They didn't really though.
Pills were always a nice like little bonus when they came around, but I never sought them out. It was always like when there was an issue and I was in pain, or somebody I knew was in pain, or somebody got a hold of some Percocets or something.
Right. I guess you got to look at the availability of it as well, because like if you look at your attitude, like the way you approach ice cream and the way I approach Diet Cokes. Do you know what I'm saying? There's funny examples, but the mental thing we put in there with this thing that makes us feel good, and so we keep kind of going through this pattern with it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? Then from there, you have to really question, like, okay, but this thing is actually going to physically make me feel different. But then again, you can't really, I mean, if it's, I don't know, do you have, I mean, but you don't have any surgeries coming up anytime soon.
No,
so
I don't
you'll be
have
all
any
right.
surgeries. Oh, and that's where the Percocet came from, was I had I had the vasectomy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I talked about this already. And so they gave me
So
those.
y'all don't know. Johnny's gotten snipped.
I got the snip, but that's what they gave them to me for. And you might be saying to yourself, "Oh my God, I would totally like if they did that."
Did you
to
take
me."
them?
No, I didn't. I just took
Right.
ibuprofen and iced it,
And it worked fine,
and
right?
it worked
so
fine. So
which must have been a little victory for you too, though, because you're like, hell yeah, I didn't have to take them fucking pain pills. I just got through it on ibuprofen, and I was fine.
yeah.
I didn't, yeah.
Absolutely, it was, and I think it's. I think my relationship with pain medication is fine as it is, but I certainly don't want to tempt fate taking Ativan for a 45-minute MRI.
Then don't take it.
You know,
Yeah, and if you freak out, just start punching the MRI, and they'll let you out.
right?
Just start swinging your fucking arms like an ape, and they'll be like, "Okay, well, I guess he's done."
And I went and got acupuncture the other day, and I laid there
how's
for
that?
I laid there for 35 minutes on my side with
Right.
needles in my leg.
You've never been claustrophobic before in the past, though.
Not hardcore, but I've never had an issue with. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. But
They just put you in a loud round tube. If you just keep your eyes closed.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But I mean, did you ever? You were never like a pill head.
No, but my longest stint without drinking alcohol was when I shattered my right leg because I was drunk, and that was a 10-week stint, almost 2 months. No, 2 months without alcohol because I was on Percocets the entire time, and then I had to go back to my doctor because I was getting really hinky with the Percocets. Like I was really having a weird attitude with them, and actually feeling it when I wasn't taking them. And so he did what all fucking medical doctors do is they just give you an anti-anxiety. They like pull the Percocet and then they're like, well, to help you come down, here's something else, some other. It was a flurazepam. It was an anti-anxiety medication.
But that doesn't give you the same buzz.
No, but it's a tranquilizer, so you're like, your body's like, where's that drug? And then you took the flurazepams, and then your body's like, I don't care. But then I ran out of those, and by the time I ran out of those, I was drinking again. So I was just like back on the sauce,
What was that like? That you said that you just said when you were taking the Percocets, and you knew when you didn't have it, or you knew you could feel.
I could just feel it in my body. Like I just felt like shit. Like I just felt sick, and like it hurt. It hurt way more than it should have. It was really weird, man. It's hard to explain now because it was so long. It was back in 2003, I think.
But you would take a pill, and then you would.
I'd take a pill, and I would feel that same fucking exact way I felt when I took a shot.
Yeah,
that loosening, that relief, the loosening of the muscles. I almost felt like my brain would slip down inside my skull a little bit. Like if my brain were on his haunches the whole time. That's the way I always felt too before I took a drink. My first drink. My brain were up on its haunches, flexing its thighs, and then the minute I took a drink, it just sat its ass down, put all its weight down.
Oh, yeah.
But now I feel like my brain's just sitting in my skull all the time now. I just feel like, honestly, I gotta be honest, man, my brain feels like relaxed now. Not all the time. I'm not gonna bullshit our fucking listeners. Like, I am definitely an uptight, fucking, really high tension kind of guy sometimes. But I'm more verbal about it. I'm like, this is giving me anxiety, just so y'all know. Like, even to people I don't know that well, I'll just tell them, this whole situation makes me anxious. I'm gonna go walk over here. Like, I just have to. I have to advocate for myself, or I freak out and I yell and get into a fight with my wife, or you know what I mean? Snap at my poor kid, or snap at a stranger. That's like that Mark Maron thing where I'm just like irritated at everything, and I'm trying not to be. Whereas he just like owns being irritated at everything. I'm like, I don't want to feel that way.
No, not at all. He's got some. I mean, I suggest anybody, like, he doesn't talk about it a lot, and that's fine. He doesn't have to about being sober. But some of the things that he said in some of his prologues before, he has the interviews, and I think he did a couple of them. One with like Jason Segel and somebody else that was really great. They talked a lot about like Jason Segel doesn't drink anymore, and that was a great one that talked about getting sober.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But he's got a lot of good stuff to say about it, and he just but he still, it's not funny, but Mark Maron's always irritable. That's this one thing that he's always struggling with. Yeah.
And I based my personality off that for my entire life up until about the past 2 years. I've been feeling myself change. I've been feeling this slip in my brain, and it's fascinating because I always fascinate myself because I'm super vain and I love myself. I'm like, oh, what are you doing, you beautiful fucking creature? But I do feel this irritation, this curmudgeonness, it's starting to slip away. I'm like more open to things and more open to ways of thinking and less put out by the world, and I like that. I want to continue like that. I would rather be a gentle thing that just floats through life than trying to fight everything all the time, which is what I did, but I'm still there. It's still in my brain. I'm still like, that's a load of shit, I just don't say it out loud as much because I try not to. How about that? I try not to. Because I know people who know me are listening to this, and they're like, you got mad at fucking football the other day. And not because I was mad at a specific football team. Just football as a sport. Just annoyed me and pissed me off. Or whatever it was, I don't know.
Well, I think this, like, when you talk about your brain calming down and just sort of relaxing and resting, and I feel the same way, too, in that my reactions to things are not as they're not as vocal. I take more time to process it. So if something bad happens, or if something bad happens around me, I don't immediately just react with rage or anger or fear or frustration. Right. I'm like, fuck. I'll think to myself.
Right.
Well, let's just hold on and kind of, I'll check in and do the whole, all right, so I'm not hurt, right? Everything's fine. My body's okay. The bills are all paid.
Right.
I'm not, so, okay, so nothing's really the matter. It's something I'm going to have to deal with, or something that's going to come up again. But I just
Yeah.
there's that lag between, instead of just lashing back out at whatever it is that, came at me, bro, I kind of have this.
Come at me, bro.
I'm a little more thoughtful, I guess, is what I'm hearing from you.
I'd like to believe so, and I hope I'm not portraying myself in any disingenuous way. This is honestly, like, this is really authentic how I feel. I just don't know if I'm out there in the world really acting that way all the time. I find it becomes more and more common.
You're a human being. It's fine.
I'm a human being, exactly, right? Because, like I said, I don't want to sit here and say that I'm this Zen person, because I'm not at all. Which I keep repeating that I'm not a Zen person.
Zane?
Zane. Hi, I'm from England. My name is Zane. I'm a DJ. Would you like some Molly? But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I feel better. Who is this? That woman on Instagram that said we were like her cool uncles.
I don't know. Now that
you tagged her in a story on the A is for Alcoholic Instagram, and it was a woman her and her friend did a podcast themselves too. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna listen. I like listening to AIFA podcast because John and Jerry are like my cool wise uncles."
Was this in that Twitter thing?
Oh, this is on Instagram.
Was it? I might have been. There's a young lady who reached out to me, and I'm.
They're from Australia, I think.
Shit.
It was like a wine. They were like talking about. Anyway, I guess if you can't remember, I don't.
Well,
know.
I feel terrible if you're out there. I think it was like, damn it. I wish I knew, but I appreciate that. I'm flattered. I think that I'm flattered to be somebody's cool sober uncle. I mean, I have some nephews. I'm actually, one of them's coming to visit this weekend, and we're gonna go and do some things. And he's 18 now.
He's 18.
Which is a
your
trip.
nephew.
Yeah.
Oh, your brother's kid. Yeah.
He's so.
Yeah.
And it's like, I immediately want to go and say something like, "Hey, man, I know fucking drugs and alcohol are awesome, and you're gonna have a blast."
Oh, geez, don't do that, dude.
I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to be preemptive? I mean, I don't even know if it's a problem. I just know where he's come from.
Just don't do anything, really, because that just makes you a real weirdo. Hey, man, drugs aren't cool. That's nah.
He's like, leave me alone.
My sister's son is like 15 or 16, I think. He's
like,
he's a good kid, man. He's a real good kid. But my sister found a bottle of rum chata in his room.
Oh no.
And he's like dating this girl, and I don't know. I think they were just messing around with alcohol, because that's the age you experiment and mess around with alcohol, right? And she was like really concerned because she's his mom, and she's like, "I don't want you drinking with some girl in your room. Like, that's all bad news." You
That's
know what
exactly
I mean? Like,
what he
you can
wants.
really affect your life. Yeah, and he's just like, "Ma, you don't get it." Like, but I just thought it was funny as fuck as his uncle, and I can't wait to see him, because I'm just gonna be like, "Sup, Rum Chata? That's your new name. You're the R Chata, dude." Like. Because you're 15, what kind of booze are you going to get anyway? You're going to get rum chata.
Right? Something that's sweet.
Yo, I stole a couple of White Claws, I had someone at work today try to tell me that White Claws are healthy, and I was like, nah. Or no, that's not what they said. They said White Claws had a lower calorie count. And I'm like, it's still 100 calories per can, though. I think it's more, actually. But
well, whatever it is, it's too much.
The lady in front of me in line at Safeway was buying like $200 worth of champagne for some party.
Party time, yeah.
And she had the label turned towards me, and I saw that the champagne per 8 ounces was 140 calories for a cup.
Booze is high, man. Booze is high.
Ooh,
I mean,
exactly. And then I was like, and then my coworker Etzel was like, whiskey doesn't have any calories, right? And I'm like, whiskey's full of fucking calories. You're just drinking sugar, dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just jail sugar.
Jail
just
sugar.
Drink that. Go to jail, dude.
I got a bottle of wine from this last party that I worked, and then that guy wanted to send me home with 2 open bottles of wine. I was like,
you're like, I don't even drink, dog.
I didn't say that. I'm always hesitant to because I don't want to be like, well, I refrain.
You don't have to
from
say you're an alcoholic. Just say I don't drink. Why? Because it makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
All right, cool. High five.
But
you know what you should do with that bottle of wine? Just throw it in the street on New Year's. That'll be your New Year's. Do the countdown, and right when you hit 1, just throw the bottle straight up in the air in the middle of the street and run away.
Jesus.
That way you can still be kind of wild, and then you don't have to get fucked up. Not that you're going to, but
No, but somebody gave me a bottle of champagne. So I mean, I don't know. I'll just bring it to the next party.
Right.
But
That is funny that he tried to give you two. Here's two for
open.
the road.
And I was like,
There's a straw in each of them. You're like, what the fuck,
so
dude?
immediately, right? So one, I think, one, I'm not taking them. Two, they're open, so they're going to have to go in the trunk. But then, like, what am I going to do with 2 open bottles of wine? Like,
nothing you can do with them.
Well, there's only one thing I can do with them, and I'm not going to do that thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. That would make this podcast super interesting.
Right? I mean, that would be...
You like 2 bottles of wine in, I'd be like, well, I guess A is for alcoholic is suffering from some technical difficulties here.
I don't think I would be interested in uploading it. I don't know. Then it would be one of these, like, I used to, Facebook post a bunch when I was drunk, and that was always like, apparently that was something I was known for that I didn't know I was known for.
Yeah, I did the same thing, but yeah, that's how I knew you. I was like, oh, John's on he's on a jag right now.
Mm-hmm. So
he's on a drinking jag.
I'd be fucking, copying and pasting, music videos and writing weird ass poetry, and I'm still sometimes, it'll haunt me every year. Something will come up, and I'm like, oh God, that thing. And,
I got rid of Facebook, dude.
Yeah,
yeah, because Instagram doesn't tell you. 7 years ago today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you posted 4 Smith songs and wrote "fuck you, Barack Obama" or something. You know, like.
But I mean, not that I should feel bad about those things because they happened, but I just don't want to.
They're
I'm
still
not interested.
Embarrassing though.
And they're still embarrassing, and I mean, I don't know. The whole Facebook thing is kind of getting gross to me too, and
I don't know what's going on it. I'm not trying to be an elitist. Like my life has gotten so much better without Facebook or
are you on
Twitter.
Are you on TikTok yet? That's the new shit.
I ain't fucking with TikTok because I do not want to go to jail. I don't want to follow some 8-year-old and then the day comes that I get in trouble for something and they're like, why are you following all these 8-year-olds on TikTok? And I'm like, it's only 8-year-olds on TikTok. And John.
There's like Will Smith's
and
on
some
TikTok.
like baby boomer guy who's like filming just this part of his face who's just like, y'all lazy fuckers need to get a job. You get everything. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what the whole baby boomer thing is and not being able to film your entire face. But
I don't know either.
Technology is weird though. But my parents are boomers and I love them. So what are you gonna do?
Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer. Someone said that at work. Someone said that to me at work the other day. Because she was getting a Lady Gaga tattoo and I made fun of it. And she was like, I thought you were woke. Okay, boomer. And I was like, I just don't like fucking Lady Gaga.
Hoorah, rah, rah, rah. She was pretty good in that American Psycho, or not American Psycho, American Horror Story.
A Star is Born? American Horror Story she was, yeah. And then I watched A Star is Born with a friend of mine. And, yeah, it was pretty rough. It was a sad fucking movie. He was drunk as fuck the entire time, yeah.
Oh yeah, we were gonna.
And then my friend of mine has like a, she's in a situation with someone who's drinking a lot and in active alcoholism. So of course it like hit her in a real emotional way. And then I had to do like the friendly pat. Like I know. Yes, I've had someone wash me up in the shower too because I peed on myself. Like I know.
So I wanted to bring this up. This is speaking of this.
That's so fucking dark on my end over here.
Well, and it's gonna get darker, everyone. So I have a situation. So I have this friend, alcoholic, has told me he's an alcoholic, and I woke up this morning to a phone call from him at 5 a.m, phone call from his mom, and I guess some messages on Facebook, and something about that he had split his head open in the shower, and there was all this shit, and somebody else, and like, I guess I was asleep the entire time this happened, and he got somebody through his mom to take him to the ER, some friend of his here in town. I don't know exactly how, and got all stitched up, and but like I sent me a picture of the scar on the top of his head that was in a T-shape.
Oh, you got a picture of it?
Yeah,
oh,
fucking, it's not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like impressed. I know that. In those moments of like, it's just drunken whatever, no big deal. I got scars. It's kind of cool. But I think my first reaction was like, fuck, I hope everyone's okay. I hope you're all right. And then my second reaction was like, you're a fucking asshole and you're killing yourself. And
right.
My third reaction was, this is really depressing and there's nothing I can do.
Right.
So, I mean... and I told you that like I'm trying to think of ways to approach this person. I'm trying to think of like, so I don't really think I can go over there and wag my finger at him.
No, that's not going to help. That's just going to push them farther away, dude.
I thought like, oh, well, it might be a little overly dramatic, but maybe I should come over with a bottle of whiskey and a big book and say, hey, when you're done with one, maybe you should open the other.
You said this to me before we started
Yes.
recording, and it made me laugh, but I was like, that's an awful idea.
So I don't think I'm not going to do that, right? Because I don't want to. I'm not trying. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to enable in any way, but I also am not like looking to push anything on anybody. And it's like the only option is to what? Just not do anything and just be prepared when they're ready. And I mean, what if they're not ready, and what if rock bottom is gonna have to be death? Like that's a real
I mean,
that's
though,
a
dude,
real
it's like,
option,
yes,
right?
Yes,
That's
it
a real-
is. Absolutely. That is more than a real option. That's an inevitable option. It's with most people, It's inevitable. It doesn't have to be a car accident or suicide. It could just be the eventual shutting down of your organs if you drink alcoholically.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm going to get a little programmy here on you, but like,
Go
at
for
least
it.
as far as like my perception of it, right? So like we talk about that doing, accepting things we cannot change. And I think if you can't change it, so you might as well just accept it being the way it is, right? And then the other programming thing, as I was thinking of, is I remember when we first started reading the book to each other back and forth over FaceTime, and we were reading about like working with alcoholics, and and a lot of the language is so funny, but he was like, you don't want to scare your man off. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's like a way to approach it, right? Because it's not about, you already know we do this, dude. It's not about, we're not fucking Mormons. You're not going to knock on his door and be like, have you met my friend Bill W? Like this
No.
is just a thing that worked for us. And as far as on his end, like you already know it, he's not going to come around. If he doesn't want to come around, he's not going to come around,
Right. Yeah.
But I think for your own mental health, and if you continue being around him, and it makes you feel fucking bad, like you may have to really consider putting your boundaries up,
severing ties and
No, maybe not severing ties, but do you know what I'm saying? Like maybe backing up a little bit or backing up a lot. And I don't mean to give you advice, because
No.
this is just in my situation. Like when I got sober and you were drunk calling me all the time, I had to like stop talking to you. But I did it slowly. I wasn't just like, stop calling me, you fucking clown, and hang up on you. Like, I was just like, all right, cool, I can't do this right now. I got shit I got to do. And then you'd call me, I just wouldn't answer, because I was like, John, you're going to have to figure this all out on your own, or you're not going to figure it out. And I'm sorry, and I love you, but there's just nothing. The only thing I can do is tell you what worked for me, and that you'd probably feel a lot better if you didn't drink. But, like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Some people are just so fucking against it. They're just so used to being in that hole. That's just where they want to be.
And I know that feeling too. I know that feeling
Yeah,
very well, of
absolutely.
feeling trapped and stuck and whatever. And I don't want to be dramatic, and I don't want to go over there and like, I mean, you
Just bam, intervention, like in Always Sunny. You're just shouting intervention at us.
just I mean, I don't know. I don't think that would help. I don't think that antagonizing or
Nope.
bullying or or making anyone feel, no, it doesn't going in there to make somebody feel ashamed of what they've done. They already feel ashamed.
Right.
I already felt ashamed of everything that I had done.
Right.
Somebody telling me that I should feel bad is not going to make me feel good, because I already hate myself, right?
Yeah, you already hate yourself. And it's not about making you feel bad. It's about, I don't know, what it's about. You know what it is? It's we're not here to convert people, but I feel like if us being part of this program, or us just being part of this way of life, how about that? When I say program, and I don't mean AA, I just mean just
Sober
working
way of life.
some type of sober, recovered way of whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think in a way it's kind of part of us, though, to help people who ask for it. Do you know what I mean? Like if this person's reaching out to you and they're like, yo, I need a hand, then you can say, okay, here's the tools that I work with. You can take it or leave it, But you can always at least be sincere. It'll probably get brushed off, because people get embarrassed when you call them on their shit and they brush you off. Or they put up a big wall and they're like, well, I'm not doing your weird cult shit. And you, ever since you quit drinking, you got fucking weird on me, And you're like, nah, I didn't get weird. I just feel better, dude. I just don't feel like bad anymore. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I've kind of, I kind of distanced myself from that situation a while ago.
So I shouldn't get him the football helmet and spray paint his mom's phone number on it.
You absolutely should, and then get him a box wine.
Maybe some fucking, I don't know, some galoshes so you don't fucking slip.
No, I mean, you need some cleats.
Cleats.
Just get him a whole football outfit.
Right.
Cleats, pads.
If you're going to be an asshole, here's your fucking
I mean, that
uniform.
shit sucks. You know, falling down and busting your head open sucks. I've busted open all kinds of shit, and so have you. I mean, I've fallen down and hurt myself drunk really bad a couple times. I've gone to the hospital a few times, and it sucks. I mean, you wake up feeling so ashamed and so put out and so like, fuck, I got to pay for all this now. What am I going to do? And that hangover after injuring yourself is just so fucking monumental. You know, might as well be the Statue of Liberty up there. It's just a fucking monument. It's just, yeah, but, you know, give it a few days. I mean, you have every right in the world to be able to advocate for yourself. So if you feel like this is a detriment to you or your recovery, you can always say, yo, I can't really kick it with you right now because this is kind of fucking with me. Or you can just do the old school. I mean, nah, don't do that. I was going to say do the old school ghosting where you just disappear, but don't do that because you guys have been friends for a long. We've, you know, been friends for a long time. It's just.
I don't think I'm going to ghost him, and I don't think that we spend a huge amount of time. Like, it's not like.
Right. Because ever since you did get sober, he was kind of like, well, I don't want to. I'm just kind of going to do my thing over here.
Over here, yeah. So it wasn't. It was never. There was never any pressure for me to drink. I never felt like that, you know. And then I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and she was saying, you know, one of the things, like, we were talking about prayer and love, and she's like, you know, pray in whatever way that you do it, you know, whatever works for you. And she said, you know, it's not like, and this is something I believe too, you know, she says it's not like the prayer. It's you're sending like good feelings to somebody, but it's more about, prayer is more about creating a peace of mind for yourself so that you have capacity to help when somebody, you know, is ready for help.
Right. Yeah, I can see
it's
that.
not like
that's a really,
you know,
it's a really rational way of looking at it, actually. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, because prayer is scary, right? You say prayer in a room, even when you say it to me right now, I'm like, ooh.
What?
Like,
Ooh.
there's still that thing, even though I do it myself, but you go into a room of people our age who are people like us, you know, a little weird, a little too alternative, you know, a little too 120 minutes.
Right.
You say prayer to them, they're going to fucking bristle at your ass. Ooh, what's up, Joel Osteen? You're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so,
yeah.
But
you could meditate on it, pray on it, meditate on it. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt.
Give it some pensive thought, you know? I mean, you're doing the first step in talking to a trusted ally,
right?
Your concierge, your conciliarge, or whatever.
Yeah, she was the first one I talked to, and you know, and the other thing she said was like, when you give love to somebody, and whatever way that you do it, you know, whether it's talking or whatever it is, like, especially in a situation like this, she's like, give him love. That's what you should do. Give him love, and however that works for you too, and remember that. You won't necessarily, like, if you put love out into the world, it's not like it's going to be this direct path, right? It's not like I'm going to put love out there and he's going to receive my love. If I put love out into the world, he may receive it from some other source. It may not be from me at all, and I may never know about it, but it doesn't hurt to put love out into the world in some way, shape, or form in hopes that he will receive some of it, and hope, you know. So, I mean, looking at prayer and love and those things that are such intangibles sometimes, it seems, or such weird, vague things, and trying to put some sort of concrete definitions behind them or put some sort of actions, right? So, I mean, that's cool. So, I mean, it's just, it makes it easier for me to sit and do nothing, you know, because I'm not doing nothing. And I think that's the feeling helpless when somebody is slowly killing themselves that you care about, you know, like, so that, and I'm going to go to the thrift store and see if I can find a football helmet.
You definitely need to find a football helmet.
Because, yeah. So, I mean, it's like, how do you help somebody? And most of the ways is you really got to help yourself first, right? It's like the oxygen mask analogy. I know you don't fly a lot, but
I remember how that works, though. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, put your oxygen mask on first, and especially this time of year with all the fucking mixing of people you haven't seen in a long time who may be fucking hardcore drinkers. And
you're gonna be dealing with family and friends and fucking all that wild shit, and maybe no family or friends, and you're all alone. That's hard too, you know.
Yeah,
Absolutely, that can be really hard.
but
But I don't know. Listen to our podcasts.
yeah,
You'll be all right. Yeah, listen
Yeah.
to some other good podcasts too. Watch some YouTube videos. That's a horrible thing for me to. That's my horrible advice. If you like drinking, watch some YouTube videos. Watch
what
all those
about-
stupid booze commercials in front of the. Yeah.
I think YouTube is so unwatchable now. Like it's gotten. I'm pretty sure in the last 2 years they've like tripled the ad count.
They have, because the creators get paid for the ads, so they'll insert ads into their fucking shit.
So and
I'm
they
gonna
just
get
keep,
an ad blocker and be like, YouTube, kiss my whole entire ass. I have an ad blocker.
well, and they keep asking me if I want to subscribe. Like,
Nah, I don't want to do that either. I'm
I don't wanna do
You
that
are
either.
free. I don't want to watch any of your dumb TV shows. I just want to see Nakey Jakey talk about music and video games, or watch Philip
Basically.
DeFranco talk about YouTube drama. I don't give a
Right?
fuck. Half the people he talks about, I don't even fucking know the fuck he's talking about.
I know. I
Like
I realized that
KSI
too.
or
Who?
some British YouTubers fighting Logan Paul, who I know made fun of a dead guy in a forest.
You're like, what?
Or
Who
it's
is this?
I don't know, or like some Korean pop band that I'm like, what the fuck is this?
But it's what you like to watch. I don't know.
Right, I do like to watch it. I'm like, we are not talking about soul coughing here. Let's talk about my music. I want to listen to the guy interviewed John McCree from Cake, which I watched this morning and it was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. When I figure it out, I'll send it to you.
Um.
He also interviewed the Kansas, who did Dust in the Wind,
That's
which
all
to
we
this
are.
day is still a sad fucking song to me. It's all the minor chords. Man, I listened to R.E.M. Green the other day.
Jesus.
Not the other day.
back.
Yesterday. I love R.E.M. Green. It's like one of my favorite fucking albums. But there was this song on the album, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's about like a kid who's got a deformity. Did you ever listen to Green a lot?
Not a lot. Not
Oh,
as much as
man.
you. But
Woo! It's just, I have all the words memorized. That's like one of my favorite albums. But yeah, it's this whole song about a little kid who's got a deformity and like dealing with other little kids making fun of him, and he just is like, I'm not supposed to look like this. And I was like crying so hard, dude. I was like sitting on my couch trying to get ready for work, and I just busted out. I just had a hard fucking cry to it because it's such a sad song. It was hard enough that my dog got off the other couch and walked over to me and started licking my hands. Like, are you all right, dude? And I'm like,
the dog knows.
hey, dude, I'm just getting it out. Like, it'll be all right. I just needed that. Push that cry out. I'm good for a week or two.
Get it out, man.
Listen
That's-
to R.E.M. Green. It's a great album. I
All
just
right.
discovered a new band, too. This will be the music section of A is for Alcoholic. But I discovered this garage rock band called Harlem,
Huh.
based out of
Okay.
Tucson, Arizona. And now they're in Austin, Texas. I discovered them. This will be Jerry's pop culture corner.
Pop
I've already
culture corner.
given all these fucking caveats. But I also started watching this TV show on Hulu called Reprisal. Have you heard of this? It's really good. It's like a badass rockabilly Sons of Anarchy that takes place in some alternate reality.
Okay.
It's fucking strange. Yeah, it's great. It's like a rockabilly gang TV show, and it's badass.
All right. I've been watching Goliath with Billy Bob Thornton, where he plays an alcoholic lawyer. Big stretch for him, but
And it's a TV show?
it's on Amazon. So I
Never
mean,
heard of it. Is
it's
it good?
It's
drama?
It's drama. Yeah, it's pretty. You should.
I'll make a note. I might fuck with that. I know Witcher's coming out, though, in a few days. And I already finished Watchmen, which is fucking excellent. Excellent story.
So,
The ending
speaking
was
of,
all right. The ending was bullshit. The ending was perfect except for certain parts. But whatever.
I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about the Watchmen.
I won't say
other than,
nothing.
like,
You should
the-
watch it. It's very good.
Like the bloody happy face or whatever. That's the only. I don't know the movie at all or the comics.
You don't have to watch it necessarily,
But-
the movie or the comics. But anyway,
The TV show I should watch.
yeah, watch a 20-minute video on YouTube about the Watchmen. You'll learn everything you need to know about the show before you watch it.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
You
Continue.
too. No. I was gonna say too that I am going to, and I like to say this so that I will. It kind of pushes me to do these things, but when I put it out there, is that I think for Christmas, for everybody on Christmas. I mean, obviously you're listening to this and it's the Friday before Christmas, but I had this the 2-part interview on the local radio station. Remember you were saying you couldn't
I
listen
was
to
trying
one of
to
them?
couldn't listen to one. I couldn't listen to either of them because I missed them both.
So
I
I'm
even
gonna
downloaded the app.
so I'm gonna cut out the local commercials for like I don't know what it is, like it's the florist or something like that, and I'll
Napa
put
Valley, Napa Auto Parts.
it
Yeah.
basically, and I'll just put it in its entirety on the AS for Alcoholic feed. on
Boom. That way I
Christmas.
can listen to it because I'd love to hear what you're saying. Is this that Desert Island mix thing where you
basically,
all your top 5?
yeah. So it's like
Yeah, I was
here's-
really looking forward to it, and I missed it, and I was like, shit.
I think
like the
you'll.
time had passed, and I was like, fuck. And so I turned on the app and was like, ah.
Well, I did talk a lot about sobriety. I talked about this podcast a lot. We did talk about music. Speaking of Jerry's Pop Culture Corner,
Right.
that could be a good one too.
JPCC. Jerry's Pop Culture Corner. JPCC.
JPCC.
We
There
could
you go.
do that little one at the end of it where I'm like, hey, y'all,
Some
play
new
this
tracks.
video game. Here's some new tracks, new atmosphere. There's
What
a new
about-
Atmosphere album out.
Is
I
there?
don't know. I don't know how to feel about it yet, but we'll see.
What about playing like when they do like the Wizard of Oz and the
Dark
and
Side
the,
of the Moon.
and Dark Side of the Moon? Is there a video game version of that where like you put on an album and you play like the first 40 minutes of something and like I don't know. I feel
don't know,
like
I'll have
there's-
to look it up. I bet you
feel like
there's
there's
gotta
some
be.
there could be some connection like something on Twitch or some I don't know what. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. It just came to me that like there could be some sort of connection between things that.
I don't know. If we have any gamers, send John a
Yes,
link.
I'm curious, but
I wonder if we do have gamers in the mix here.
I told you should do fucking sober Twitch, man. I'm telling you, sober Twitch TV.
There'd be no difference than anybody else's. It's not like there's drunk people on Twitch. There is.
Yeah, it's fair
but
enough,
Not
but
like
no,
all of it.
it's-
It's just like it's time to play some fucking Fortnite, you fucking bitches. Let's do it. It would
Talking
just be
shit about
me
your
like
mom and- yeah.
yeah. It would just be me playing BioShock again.
Oh, speaking of your mom,
Leanne's,
no.
she's probably listening to this.
well, perfect because I have
That's
a question. So I started. I've been trying to like cook different stuff at home. God, this is going off the rails real quick here.
That's all right. I mean, we've got 5 minutes left, and
Okay.
it's Christmas.
In Christmas. So I've been cooking beans, but I don't really have a good recipe because I get them dry and I want to soak them, or if I like boil them for 10 minutes and then cook them for 2 hours. And I'm just wondering if you could ask your mom or if Leanne's listening. I would love like a bean recipe. I know that she's. I'm assuming.
I'll ask her. I'm
I'm assuming she cooked a lot
it's
of beans.
very
in her time.
She has. She's yeah. It's very
So-
easy though. She'll tell you garlic, onion, ham bone, and chicken broth or pork broth.
If that's it, I mean.
But if you're like not a meat eater,
I don't know.
you're
I'll
not,
sub
you're not
something
gonna
out,
get vegetable broth probably. But that's what she puts a ham bone in it.
but okay.
A big spiral cut ham bone. Yeah,
Ham
she
beans?
swears by that shit or bacon in Mexican beans, which is crazy. I don't know. I'll ask her though when you're down here, or she'll be listening to this at some point and then text me and be like, "How do I get a hold of John?" In like a month, 2 months, I'll get a
Right?
text.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to know how to cook some beans better.
I mean, that's if she's still listening to the pod. Who knows? Maybe she's just like, they just talk about fucking video games all day long.
Yeah.
Like we talked about recovery a little bit in this one. We talk about it a lot actually.
We talk about it. I mean, that's what we're.
And
here
I only
for.
had 2
But-
system overloads. The last time it froze up again while we were talking, but it was when I was listening to you. So yeah,
Interesting.
Then I restarted it up immediately. So I think I need to update this
All right.
computer.
All right. Well, let's
Let's
end
on
it
that
there.
note.
let's end there. Merry Christmas to everybody and to everyone.
Yeah,
a good
enjoy,
night and
enjoy your holidays.
Jerry,
whatever
you
you
too.
celebrate. Yeah, you too,
Yeah.
man.
Tell.
I think we'll be recording one more Christmas Day though. I think.
if
right.
you're up for it,
I don't know. We'll see.
unless you're busy or something like that.
Yeah,
But if you,
just
I know you got family.
Eating
and
beans
stuff.
with a ham bone in it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again for listening. Our music, as always, is by Neglect. You can find more of his stuff at neglect.bandcamp.com.
And you can find us on all social media platforms that matter: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can reach us at asforalcoholic@gmail.com.
Talk to you later.
Yeah.